everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Sultan, Mohsin Sports Zone. I hope everyone are safe and healthy when you're looking at that things are improving with the coronavirus pandemic, but we still need to be patient. I know that many of you are viewing my videos, but in order to stay updated with the latest sports news, you must subscribe to my channel and give your opinions in the comment section below. So let's get started. In this video, I'll be discussing if it's safe enough for football to go ahead when looking at the current stage the world is at with the coronavirus pandemic. We have seen already that the Bundesliga started around 2 to 3 weeks ago, and thankfully everything is going according to plan. But the weird thing to take out is that the home teams are struggling to find form, as they don't have the backing and support from the fans in the stadiums, which gives away teams more of a chance to pose a threat to them. So I think this is a very interesting concept and a more interesting revelation taking away from the football's restart, especially in the Bundesliga, is that obviously that home teams need the support from the crowd to feel more enthusiastic, be more motivated, and give you 100%. But I think as we've seen that home teams are lacking that cutting edge, and that not giving those top quality performances that they should be when you're thinking about that they used to when the crowds are in the stadiums. So with the crowds not being in the stadiums, I think it's having a huge impact on the home teams and their form, and I think it's going to be a challenge even when you're looking at the Premier League and Syria looking to restart as well. I think it's going to pose a challenge to them as well, that how our home team's going to cope. As we know, there are talks of neutral venues, but I think still crowd are a vital part. The fans are a vital part of giving top quality performances and cheering your team on, because it gives you that. I think it builds the character of the players to do something special to show the crowd that they're capable of giving top quality performances. So I think it's a very crucial point that in terms of not having the crowd will have an enormous effect on the players' mentality, but also the physical side of it. Is because if you don't have that physical determination inside you, I don't think it's possible that you'll be successful. Because as I've seen in the past when I'm looking at football matches, is that when there are fans behind you and cheering you on, you turn into a different kind of animal as a player. You want to do everything. You want to go into tackles. You want to score goals. You want to be that person that stands out when you think of a goalkeeper saving a lot, putting in a lot of saves, defending, putting slide challenges, slide tackles. So I think with the Bundesliga being played without the crowd, I think the players don't have anyone to impress, even though they know that their fans are looking from the TV and seeing the players play. But I think they don't have something to look forward to, because they don't have that right environment that actually joins them together and brings in that family factor. Because most clubs, if you think about the past clubs like Manchester United, for example, even though I'm not a Manchester United fan, but I'll give an example, that I think their fans were a huge part of their incredible success during Sir Alex Ferguson's stint at Manchester United. For example, if you look how every single time that the players are down or didn't win a title for a long time, especially during Chelsea's dominance of the Premier League, that the fans always backed them, and I think that's a crucial factor in order to maintain that morale or build that morale to give high quality performances and actually making their fans proud and giving respect to the crest, as you can see. So I think when you even look at the Munich plane crash, when I think the Manchester United football team, most of the players passed away, unfortunately. You see that I think there was a lot of crowdfunding and stuff like that. I know this is dragging to a different path, but this point, but I think when you have fans backing you, you have a different type of mentality. You know that whatever happens, that the fan will be by your side. It's not like the temporary fans or fans that are always there when you're winning, but they're there as well when you're losing and going through rough patches. So I think that's a very crucial factor. Furthermore, as we've heard in the last week or so, the Premier League and Syria have agreed to restart to play in the middle of June, which gives the players some time for preparation. However, I do think that it's the players' responsibility to keep themselves fit, as fitness is a key part of players' lives, or people's lives in fact. So anyways, I do agree with the Premier League and Serie A restarting, as I think it'll bring a much needed boost to both England and Italy, because they're one of the severely affected countries by the coronavirus pandemic. So I think that we should be thankful that these football leagues are restarting, as there were talks of calling the season null and void. Because if you're not being thankful, I think that's a very your mind's not in the right place, because the players are also risking their lives to play on the pitch. I know they're being paid and everything, whatever you guys would think, but I think you should give respect to their personal lives as well. So, but also when you're thinking about that England and Italy were the most affected countries from the coronavirus pandemic, um, that they need that morale boost. They need that happiness and joyful moment in their lives for sports returning, because it's been very depressing time for them during coronavirus pandemic. So I think in order to lift the spirits up, um, you need to have that something to look forward to, or something to take your mind off this tough time. So I personally think that it's better to have the season, the seasons, the different competitions, Syria, Bundesliga, Premier League, to go ahead instead of calling the season null and void, because I think that would have been unfair on the teams that actually gave outstanding performances this year. But when thinking about the process of how match days are going to go ahead, I think is a very complicated process, because it says like players are going to get tested twice a week, and they'll have limited times with their physios due to the guidelines of social distancing. So I think that the FA and the Italian board have to come up with a solution, as recovering after match days is actually a key part to maintaining match fitness and giving consistent performances on the pitch. So I think players not having enough time, or being given enough time with their physios, could be actually turn out to be a serious problem with football restarting, because I think it's actually crucial that players spend time with their physios and recover properly after matches, because it will lead to them giving top quality performances. If you're not recovering well after a match, and if you got like a niggle or like a hamstring problem, for example, I think it's actually a danger for a player to play the next match, or be expected to play consistently, because at least you have to have a lot of time with your physios, because they need to help you get into the recover from your previous played match, and actually build your strength up and be able to play matches on a consistent basis. So I think that's something that needs to be looked into, because as I think Olivier Giroud, Chelsea striker, said that he's having problems with only having like 15 minutes with physios after like training and stuff like that. So I think that's not enough time for players to recover and be expected to recover, because I think it'll be very harsh on them. So I think that needs to be looked into, and players need to be given more time with their physios. We've also heard that contact training has also been approved by the UK government. I think that's very good news, because you can't have proper training without players having contact with each other, because if you have non-contact training, that's not more of a challenge. It's like you're only basically playing by yourself, we're just doing passes to each other, which is not giving an experience of a match day, because when you're actually playing a match, you're also going to have be involved in physical contact. So you need to, during training, you need to have that feel of a match day, that how would you feel when you're actually playing a match. So if you're not having that, I think it would actually lead to lots of players struggling. So I think that's very good news, even though like the social distancing guidelines should be followed. But I think in order to have sports restarted in the proper way possible and the most effective way possible, contact training should be approved and has been approved, as I already told you. So neutral grounds also, I heard about the Premier League introducing neutral grounds for the remaining fixtures. So I think this would be, it will not make much of an impact, but I think they're trying to minimize the travel time of players, so they don't travel off more than, I think, 90 miles or something like that. There's like a restriction in how much you can travel as a team. So I think it's good that all the countries' football boards are actually taking this seriously and actually not rushing into everything normal. So in a neutral ground, I think it's not really going to make much of an impact though, because you already know that players are already playing without their fans. So either you have a neutral ground or they play on the normal ground. It's not really going to make much of an impact, unless you're trying to make sure that the normal grounds of the players remain safe for use after the coronavirus pandemic is hopefully over. So I think there's two sides to it, but I think it's better to play on your normal grounds, because already players have that mental pressure or mental anxiety that they are not playing in front of their fans. But in order to play in your own stadium, give them that feel-good factor, at least that they're playing in familiar surroundings, so they'll feel more comfortable and more energized on the pitch and giving the 100%. So this is what I overall think about football restarting. I think it's a good decision, but I think we must not rush into it straight away, and it should be a process that needs to be looked into on a regular basis. So I think, well, if you don't look at it on a regular basis, it could lead to more danger, because this is not an easy situation that the world's coming out from. It's actually a pandemic, so it's a global disease, global infection, in fact. So I think sports must take their time to come back and make sure that they're not risking sports people's lives in order to for their personal gain. So I hope you like this video. Please let me know what you think, if football should return or not. I'm actually very interested. I'll be very interested in listening to your opinions about this, because I know that people might have different views on this particular subject. But please subscribe to my channel and give your opinions in the comment section below. Thank you very much.